Hey there guys, how are you today, and welcome to another video on my channel. So today I am going to be reviewing my F1 Fantasy League for the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix F1 1000, the 1000th race in Formula 1. And before I start, go and tell me down in the comments below what you thought of the Grand Prix in general. For now, let's have a look at how we all did in our Fantasy League. So you can see for China, the worst performer was Fast and Furious 1, so that's Kyle on 90 points, and then Laurie on 104 points, Robbie on 126, myself on 144, Thomas F1 on 154, and Seb on 183. So now we're going to go to the overall leaderboard and have a look at how we all did in terms of who scored high points in terms of his drivers and everything. So currently in the leaderboard, Laurie is at the bottom on 312 points. And for China, he went for Hamilton, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez, Kimi Raikkonen, and Alfa Romeo as a team. So Lewis Hamilton wasn't quite as dominant as he traditionally has been in China, but ultimately he was able to win the race quite comfortably in the end from his teammate Valtteri Bottas. But he didn't get pole position by 43 points, obviously a really good score. And Verstappen was able to had a quiet race, had one bit of wheel-to-wheel action with Sebastian Vettel, but otherwise we hardly saw him during the race. But he was able to undercut Charles Leclerc to come in P4. Hülkenberg had another engine-based issue in the Renault, meaning he got negative points here today, failing to finish the race, and of a turbo driver just makes it even worse. And then you have Perez and Raikkonen, who both had fairly solid days, and Alfa Romeo 22 points. It was a strong-ish race of Raikkonen, not so much though for Giovinazzi. Now looking at myself, I'm 338 points, and I know I scored 144 this weekend because I went for Hamilton, Gasly, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Norris and Renault as a team. So Gasly did better this weekend than he has done in the previous weekend. I was tempted to take him out, but I thought maybe third time lucky for Pierre Gasly, and I was right. And also he was able to use strategy to get the fastest lap point as well, so maybe that's why he's got 44 points on here. Daniel Ricciardo had a good race over with Renault in P7. Wasn't able to challenge the front guys, but we didn't really see much of Ricciardo during the race, to be fair. It was kind of a very peaceful race for Daniel Ricciardo. Nothing really much happened. But at least he finished the race, unlike his teammate. And Raikkonen had a solid race, coming P9, good action of him. And Norris was basically punted out by the torpedo, Daniel Kvyat, and also his teammate Carlos Sainz, at the start, and went on to retire after driving quite a while actually with a damaged car. And Renault scored 20 points, with Ricciardo scoring well, but Hülkenberg obviously retiring. And next up, we're going to be looking at Robbie's team for China. He's on 347 points, just ahead of me there. He went for Leclerc, Verstappen, Raikkonen, Perez, and Norris, with Alfa Romeo as a team. So Leclerc had an interesting race, with a bit of a fallout maybe of Ferrari. He was disappointed after qualifying after being beaten by Sebastian Vettel. And I think with Leclerc, there was issues with team orders, as we know. He was told to let Vettel pass, and that basically screwed over his whole race. We talked about Verstappen already. Of course, Raikkonen, we know he had a solid race. And being a turbo driver, 36 points. Good choice there. And Sergio Perez, also a decent race. And Norris, well, as I said, no points. But Alfa Romeo is also not a bad choice to have at all. And then Thomas F1 has 352 points. It was quite close, really, between us all here, actually. But that's because it's still near the start of the season. And he went for Ricciardo, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Leclerc, and Gasly with Toro Rosso as a team. So I think Toro Rosso aside, I would say that's a really strong team. Probably one of the strongest teams I've seen so far. I mean, you put any of these drivers in your team, wouldn't you? I think Ricciardo is a good choice to have as a turbo driver. Not as good a choice as Gasly, I guess, but not a bad choice for sure. And then, well, yeah, we talked to all these guys already, and Toro Rosso had a good race of Alexander Albon, of course, coming through the field from last place to score a point, just holding off Roman Grosjean right at the end. While, of course, Kvyat had a bit of a difficult time, which is why Toro Rosso only have 14 points. Then we're going to go to Fast and Furious 1. That's Kyle on 384 points. And he went for Raikkonen, Grosjean, Torpedo, Kvyat, Verstappen, Leclerc, with Red Bull as a team. So obviously Raikkonen, Turbo Drive, a pretty good choice, as we know. Grosjean didn't have a great choice. Nearly managed to grab a point in the Grand Prix, but ultimately failed. And I think Haas in general were doing badly this weekend. Talks about Kvyat, Verstappen and Leclerc already. And Red Bull 41 points, and it was a fairly solid weekend for Red Bull. They would have wanted Gasly to be a bit closer to Verstappen, but ultimately it's the points that count at the end of the day. And Red Bull, on here at least, got 41 points. Finally, we're going to go to Seb Nicole on 477 points. And as we know, his team has been built around having Mercedes as a constructor, which has given him a solid 85 points. And then he was able to benefit from having Raikkonen, Gasly and Bottas all on his team. Although Norris and Sainz, the two McLaren boys, didn't really score much for you there, Seb, unfortunately. And well, there we go, guys. That was the Chinese Grand Prix on here. Tell me what you think, how you think the league is going, and what you thought of the Grand Prix. And obviously, if you want to join the league, ask, and I'll give you the code for it in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time.